online candidates also. Okay, last class we just started with disaster management, correct? So we finished off with the aggravating factors. What factors contribute for disaster management? Okay. Next thing is consequences. So next thing is consequences. Consequences, or what we call it as impacts. Okay. So what's your interpretation of the term consequences for disasters? For last 1 year we are facing a disaster, correct? Corona pandemic. So what it has impact in our life? Loss of livelihood, that is one. Then apart from this, any other impact in our life? We generally discuss and see from exam perspective what are the consequences. One is loss of livelihood, then any other impacts apart from this? GDP plunge, okay, economy has the biggest impact. When say livelihood means we can relate with the economy. Then any other thing apart from this? Rehabilitation is a problem, okay, then? Health sectors? Loophole in health sectors, okay, health sector is not good, okay. Then, you are speaking about India or global level? Particularly in India, okay, okay then. Okay, and then anything apart from this? Pushing people below poverty line, mental health issues are there, correct? Is that we got mental health issue because of corona? Yes or no? Yes, that's true only, correct? Sitting inside a home for 24 hours is very tough. Okay. And spending a time with family members is very tough. Okay. Because we are, okay, so economy struggle, okay, domestic violence, that also being proved. Right now in India, domestic violence increased a lot because of this corona pandemic. So this is a basic understanding of consequences. We can split into 3 levels, right on? First, consequences. At international level. Consequences at international level. Disaster results in socio-economic, political instability. At international level, disaster results in socio-economic, political instability. Take an example of corona itself. We have global level impact, correct? So when you take this economic instability, we can easily understand regarding economic instability, correct? So if you take India as an example, can anyone say what is the GDP growth of India for the last year? Any idea? On an average, GDP of Indian economy grows by, from 1991, it's around 7 to 8%, correct? For last few years, it's around 6% of GDP growth. Last 1 year, what happened to Indian economy? It's good or bad? You know, it's very bad, correct? Indian economy was not in good shape, okay, because of this corona pandemic. And as a common man, which are the business we can see the real impact as a common man? Tourism is one. Apart from tourism, which are the other industries, literally you can see that there's a biggest impact because of corona pandemic. MSME sectors, micro, small and medium enterprises. Apart from this, in our life itself, there are certain things we enjoy in our life, correct? So you can see that that business got the biggest impacts. For example, take example of cine industries, correct? Even after malls are open, is that we go for cinemas? Literally we think twice, correct? So what will happen there? All these things are mall, good examples. Okay, malls has the biggest impact. Global level also you can see that economy got the biggest impact. Okay. Not only India, all economies got the biggest impact. So that is the economic instability. Example with corona. Next thing is social instability. What is social instability because of corona? I'm taking corona as an example. You can relate to all other things. For example, what is the social instability because of corona? So domestic violence is one. Then apart from this, corona and poverty. Any idea? Corona and poverty. Daily wages being affected and poverty is increased. Okay. Just type this in Google. Right now take your phone and type this. Oxfam report and Corona India. Just type this. Oxfam report. Oxfam report Corona India. Just type this and study. It takes around 20-30 seconds to go through that news article. Is that you got it? Corona Oxfam OXFAM. Oxfam report India. So what do you have gone through that news articles? How corona has impacted the economy, correct? In that report, a finding is richest Indians' wealth increased 35%, but around 120 million Indians lost their job, correct? Similarly, gender difference is there. Education. You can go through all this. You can use it as an introduction for your answers. Wherever you want, you can use it. Just note it down. So not only for governance, you can use it for GS regarding health, education, all this you can use as a points. So here you can see that how corona has an impact on economy and society, correct? Social impacts, instability. Can anyone give an example of political instability because of corona? Political instability because of corona. China? Okay, global power rises. Is that China power rises or China's right now feel threatened after corona? Any idea? If you are a Chinese president, is that you are feared after corona or you think that, okay, my power is increased a lot? Right now, biggest fear of China is what all global companies are saying. Any idea? They need to go for alternate supply chains, correct? Because all their manufacturing bases are in China. And they fear that we cannot rely on one particular country. We need to go for other countries. That is what India says. Okay, we will create the environment, come here. Politically, it's a threat. Another good example for understanding the political threat in corona, just for understanding purpose, don't write it anywhere. You know Thailand, what happened in Thailand? Thailand have a royal family. During this corona time, there was a threat for the royal family of Thailand. People want to throw royal family from Thailand. They need to have a pure democracy. What will be the reason for that? Anyone have an idea? What? Not only lavish lifestyle, what is the other biggest problem is? Any idea? Not military. Thailand is not that military aspects. The current king of Thailand, during corona time, he never cared about the people. Once he got the information corona is spreading, he went to Germany for a trip. And trip means not only with him, along with other 10 women, so he enjoyed the life there. That irritated Thailand people, correct? We are struggling for life, you are enjoying the life there, correct? So they protested. Go and check the news articles. They protested against Thailand monarchy and they want to remove monarchy. So that's one understanding, correct? Similarly, political threat for China is very high right now. What the political threat is? Countries want to move out of China and people of China is also not trusting the government. Is that you know that? Initially, the Chinese people question, where is the Chinese president? After 3 to 4 months, when everything got settled, he came to the public. So a lot of political threats are there. So you can see that a disaster can have socio-economic political instability. You can relate with all these things. World War I, ISIS crisis. What is ISIS? What is ISIS? Anyone have an idea what this ISIS is? It's what once a terrorist organization in Gulf countries. ISIS, one's biggest threat. So you can go and check all this results in socio-economic political instability at international level. Okay, ready? Political instability in Yemen. Okay, that's correct. Okay, that's correct. Okay. Right, next one is at national level. Next point is second consequences. At national level. At national level. Disaster results in diverting resources for rebuilding the nation, diverting the resources for rebuilding the nation rather than development. So to understand this point, my question is, can you say in global level, which two countries can go for war? At this moment, you think these two countries' potential for war is very high? Huh? Iran, US is one. Apart from Iran, US, China is there. Okay. And you are not realistic, correct? What about India, China? They will not go for war. Most flashpoint is right now happening regarding India and China, correct? Ladakh, How many soldiers died in Ladakh crisis? So India, what is India's claim of loss of Indian soldiers? Any idea? It's around 20 to 25, correct? What about Chinese side? What about Chinese side? Officially they claim 4, but unofficial is around 45, 35, 60, no one knows, correct? Right now if you are a Chinese leader, you'll be happy losing 35 soldiers on your side, and it irritates you, correct? India-China potential flashpoint, US-Iran potential flashpoint, correct? My question is, take an example of US-Iran. War is always a last option. Can you say why? Whenever two countries are not in good terms, what the first option the countries will explore is negotiation. What the next possible option is? If negotiation is not working well, what the next thing the countries will do is sanctions, correct? What the third option is military. My question is, why military is not a first option? When two countries are not in good terms, why military is not a first option? It applies for India, it applies for US. Why they never take military as a first option? So please understand, military effort is considered to be an unproductive activity. What does unproductive activity means? You are committing your national resources without any outcomes, only for military objectives. And where we can find that is, whenever US invade a country, whether US invade as a single country or with coalition partners. You can check that in global level, whenever US invade a country for military reason, it never does as a single country. What they do is they ask the partners. Who will be the other partner of US always come along with them is UK will be there, NATO will be there, correct? Why they want to do that? Why they want to do like that? Because they clearly know that war is an unproductive activity. They should not bear the economic cost of it. They want to split the cost across all nations, correct? Or another way of saying that is, you know that when US invaded Iraq, they asked the help of India. Why India did not send its armed forces? Any idea? This is an interview question, UPSC interview question. Why we never send our armed forces for Iraq invasion? US asked the help of India. Please be part of this coalition and we can throw out Iraq and all those things, correct? Any aspects because of it? Saddam is a strong supporter of India. Please understand, foreign policy never work on that dimensions. If someone is going down, they let them go down. They will not go for ideological reason, go and help, not like personal relations, correct? If Saddam is going to die, India will be happy. Okay, thank you. That's it. Any other reasons apart from this? NAM is outdated. NAM means non-alignment movement. It's an international organization. It's the outdated one. That's not a reason. Not external factors. Internal factors is there. What India feared is, outside of Gulf countries, India has the largest concentration of Muslim population. Once India go for invasion of Iraq, in India level, what be the images? What will be the images? Against the Islam. Already we have local problems, correct? So India thought that should not be done. We cannot enhance our problem. Already we have, correct? Which are the states still we have this problem based on religion is? Okay, not only Karnataka, we can see in Jammu and Kashmir, there is always a trouble there, correct? Based on Islam, religion based, correct? So already lot of local terrorist organizations are there. So Indian government thought that it's not the best time to enter Iraq, we should not interfere there. So what the second point is, when that disaster happens, a country need to spend the resources for rebuilding the country rather than development. You will understand the point. Starting from zero again. And third point, at individual level, disaster results in loss of livelihood, property, life. Livelihood, property, life. So can you say right now in your life what may be disaster? So right now in your life, what do you think as disaster in your life? Huh? So right now in your life, what do you think as disaster? It varies from time to time, correct? But at this moment, what do you think as a disaster for you? You don't have any disasters in your life? I'm not asking disasters in life means what do you predict, okay, this may be a disaster for me. What may be the things there? Nothing like that, correct? Personal disasters, nothing. Relationship, breaking relationship, nothing, correct? Adala sir, correct? Okay. So just fun part, okay. See that at this point of your life, you don't have any big responsibilities, no aspects of disasters. Why I ask this? Sometimes you think that UPSC is a potential disaster for you, correct? You think like UPSC is the biggest disaster in my life. I don't know what will happen. To that point, I always say is that I can promise you until what you studied in school and college days is not a real education. Okay. This 1 year is going to change your life for rest of your life. The best part is you get into civil services. Even though if you miss the opportunity, very pragmatically if you are speaking, correct? I'm not saying that you'll not clear, but very pragmatically it's a competitive examination. The chances are 50-50. Even if you are not clearing this examination, please understand, based on this 1 year of your exposures, in society you will be very different. Society you will be very different means your thought process, the way of thinking will be very different when compared with the rest of your friends. And easily society will identify you. Can you understand the point? Or better way of saying this is, if your friends are right now not preparing for civil services, what are the major source of information for them? What are the major source of information for them? If the friends are not preparing for civil services? Social media, correct? And what happens in social media, sometimes people strongly believe that that's true. But you only know that how social media is being manipulated, correct? Once you go outside to the society, not as a civil servant, for example, if you are starting a business or if you are in banking system or if you are any line you are, it will be very unique. People easily identify you. Who is this person? Very different thought process and very pragmatic and realistic, correct? But most of the time we can see as a common man, which drives our things is most of the time emotions or rationality, which drives us a lot. As a common man, which drives us a lot, emotion or rationality? Most of the time it will be always emotions, correct? And all your friends will be influenced based on emotions, correct? How we can see that? We can see in social media, correct? Pachai Tamilananda like pannu, Pachai Tamilananda share pannu, correct? So we never read all those things. We just put that thing because we are emotionally driven. So that's the point to say. Okay, the next thing is India and disaster management. So India and disaster management. This life itself disaster, sir. Don't think like that. Okay, enjoy your life. And another point is, another point what I also say is, you're preparing for civil services. That doesn't mean that you need to compromise certain happiness in your life also. Keep that in mind. Okay. Please understand, this is the only system where whenever you crosses to the next stages, your life becomes more tough. Right now you think that preparing for civil service is tough. Don't like that. Don't think like that. This is the most happiest part of your civil service career. Even take example, once you finish off your prelims, is that you'll be happy? Once you finish off your prelims, after passing prelims you'll be happy. For one day you'll be happy. What are the next biggest question in your life is? Mains, correct? Once you clear your mains, what will be the next biggest question in your life is? Interview, correct? Once you clear an interview, what will be the biggest question in your life is? Results is okay. Results okay. You get the services. What the next biggest question is? Huh? Okay, services means you should be in the list. Okay, which service you are? Assume that you got all India rank 50 IAS. Even you will be happy. Next thing is cadre, correct? You want to get the cadre what you want. Even if you get the cadre, what the next best question is? Okay, you are in your home state. What the next thing you will always aspire is? You want to work in the best district, correct? And apart from this, once you get into service, what the next biggest question is? What the next biggest question is? Marriage, correct? Marriage is the biggest factor. Don't laugh. Okay. If you are smart enough, you can go and find your life partner in Missouri. Okay. Sometimes people think that why we want to do that, parents will take responsibility for it. But sometimes it also goes in different directions. Okay. Though you think that I'm an IPS working in Nagaland. No woman will marry you. Why I want to be in Nagaland is in police service? No, no, no. I'll find a guy working in US in software. We have friends in services not yet married. Okay, I'm not saying that everyone it happens. Okay, they also have certain expectations. That's also a problem. So in civil services, please understand this is the most happiest part of your life. Enjoy your preparations. Don't complicate your life. And what are the small happiness in your life, you do it. What small happiness means? Going for a movie or going for some friend's birthday party, attending some marriages. You do all these things. Don't compromise that, okay, this 1 year I'm going to study like anything, right? I don't know, I think you can see in Tamil movie, right? I think Padayappa or something. Where there's one character, Neelambari, sitting inside the home and seeing the same video again and again, correct? So don't be like that. So civil service is a competitive examination, but also take care of your personal life also. The important aspect is, after getting to services, please understand there is no personal time for you. Getting into services, no personal time. All is decided by the government, right from the training days. Right from what dress you want to wear. You will understand the point. You're having a beard. You can't do it once you enter into services. That if you're in police services. Is that, once you get into services, going for a foreign trip is not easy. You need to get the permission of the government to go for a foreign trip. A lot of restrictions are there. We love think that a service is the most important thing. Once you get into that, a lot of challenges are there. So enjoy your preparations. The next thing is India and disaster management. India and disaster management. In 10th 5-year plan. In 10th 5-year plan. So how many 5-year plans we finished off? Right now we don't have 5-year plans. How many 5-year plans we finished off? Any idea? What was the last 5-year plan? 12th 5-year plan. And what was the time period of 12th 5-year plan was? Any idea? 2012 to 17. So 10th 5-year plan was in the year of 2002 to 7. In 10th 5-year plan. In 10th 5-year plan. Disaster management. Disaster management emerged as the primary objective of Indian government. So can you say what disaster happened during this time frame? Anyone able to remember the disaster? Biggest happened in India that during this time frame, 2000 to 2005. One is 2004 tsunami. Before that, there was another biggest disaster happening. Anyone able to remember it? Huh? Gujarat earthquake or called Bhuj earthquake. So these two, based on these experiences, government began to focus on disaster management. Disaster Management Act. Disaster Management Act 2005. Disaster Management Act 2005 was passed with following features. So in that first one is NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. When you write an answer, you can write NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. Chairperson. Logically think of, if government is going to give importance for this particular activity, who will be the chairperson for it? Very logical one. Prime Minister. Chairman, Prime Minister. Chairman, Prime Minister. That I don't. The objectives of NDMA. First point. To determine national plan for disaster management. Second, to approve disaster plan prepared by ministries prepared by ministries based on national plan. Example, drought management plan prepared by Can anyone say which ministry will be responsible for drought management? Which ministry will be responsible for drought management? Just use your intelligent guess. A lot of ministries are there in India. Which ministry will be responsible for it? Ministry of Water. Next. Any other guess? Any other guess? One is Ministry of Water. Jal Shakti is one. Then any other thing? We'll see the answer. Anything apart from this? Huh? Ministry of Environment is one choice. Then any other thing? So that's the purpose I'm asking. Please understand, drought management plan is prepared by Ministry of Agriculture. Prepared by Ministry of Agriculture. So these are the areas where UPSC will ask a prelims question. What are these areas means? Those answers against common sense. Can you understand the point? When you say drought management plan means, drought means lack of water. What's a common sense answer for that thing is? Always Ministry of Jal Shakti. This is the area where UPSC always asks you a question whether you are very conscious enough or not. I'll give another example for this. Take example of CBI. Which ministry CBI comes under? Home Affairs, correct? That's a common sense answer. Because CBI means we have police, so it will be always under Home Affairs. But we go and check in India, CBI work for Ministry of Personnel, which is under Prime Minister. Any answer which is against common sense, when you study something, please keep a note of it. That is where UPSC will ask the questions. Even take example of the constitutional aspects. Discretionary power as per constitution. Who enjoys? Who enjoy the discretionary power? What topic is going in polity for you? What a topic in polity going for you? Huh? What topic? Polity class nadandittu. So what is the topic they are dealing with? Is that definition of parliament? Definition of parliament, correct? State governments? No. Okay, what's my point is, if you go and check as per constitution, who enjoy the discretionary power is, underline the word as per constitution, that will be enjoyed only by the governor. Can you understand the point? President enjoy the discretionary power, which is a situational discretion. So there's a difference between the discretionary power as per constitution and situational discretion. What does situational discretion means? Who should be the next prime minister? Where president can use his discretionary power. But governor, as per constitution, can enjoy the discretionary power. And who defines the discretionary power for the governor? By governor himself. Can you understand the point? A good way of saying this is, I don't know how many of you tracked this. In Maharashtra, there was a political issue going on, correct? After the elections. Right now we have this Shiva Sena ruling the Maharashtra state, correct? But in between you can see that BJP was allowed to form the government. Fadnavis was allowed to form the government for 1 day or 1 or 2 days, correct? Can anyone say at what time swearing in ceremony took part? Anyone have an idea? It's nothing but morning 4 o'clock swearing in ceremony. Suddenly governor called him and asked him to accept as a chief minister. You can't go and ask the governor why at night 4 o'clock having a swearing in ceremony. Because he enjoyed the discretionary power. And where we can check that is check Article 163. Check in your Google right now, Article 163. Just check it once. What is second objective I'll say right now? Just check this Article 163. So I'll just give a hint. Please work on it. Article 163 versus Article 74. You're able to get what is Article 163? Is that term discretionary power is given in that Article 163? That's regarding aid and advice by Chief Minister and Council of Ministers to Governor. Is it correct? Is that the term discretionary power is given there? Except discretion. If you go through that article, you get an idea, correct? So just check this. I'll say the second point once again. Okay, one of the candidate needed. The disaster management plan prepared by ministries, to approve disaster management plan prepared by ministries based on national plan. Based on national plan. Example, drought management plan prepared by Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture. Please check these two articles. One is Article 163 versus Article 74. This is for mains angle. Don't get bothered. It's for mains angle. They can ask you like this. As per constitution means never think president. It's only the governor enjoy the discretionary power. Okay. What's my point is, when you study any topic, any subject, if you think that the common sense answer is not that one, please focus on it. UPSC will always ask a question like this. As a common sense, we put an answer which will be wrong. Can you understand the point? For example, CBI, common sense answer is Ministry of Home Affairs. So anything against the common sense, keep a track of it. That can be a prelims question. Okay. Now next one is third point. Third point in NDMA. Third point in NDMA. To determine principles. To determine principles for sharing resources, among states for disaster management. Among states for disaster management. Next thing is NDRF. Next thing is NDRF. Second key feature is NDRF. We see this in news a lot, correct? NDRF, National Disaster Response Force. National Disaster Response Force, NDRF. National Disaster Response Force. When you write an answer, you can write NDMA and NDRF. It doesn't need to expand. NDRF, a specialized force, responsible to perform rescue and relief operations. Next, third one, NIDM, National Institute of Disaster Management. NIDM means, if I'm fast, let me know what. Okay, NDRF is National Disaster Response Force, a specialized force responsible for rescue and relief operations. Next thing is NIDM, National Institute of Disaster Management. So can you list out some premier institutions in India? For example, if you take management, what are the premier institution in India for management? IIM. If you take technology, what the premier institution is? Everyone knows IIT, correct? For medicine, what the premier institution in India for medicine? AIMS, correct? For example, if you want to do fashion, what is the premier institution? If you want to do some fashion technology, NEF, correct? My question is, why these institutions are being created? Take Tamil Nadu as an example, correct? How many engineering colleges are there in Tamil Nadu? Every street corner we have engineering college, correct? Approximately around 500 colleges are there. Then why we need to have an IIT here, correct? Similarly, we take medicine. We have so many colleges here. Why in Tamil Nadu we have AIMS? What is the purpose of creating these institutions? Any logical answers? Why they want to create? Why central government want to create such institutions? IITs, IIM, AIMS. Every state government got lot of colleges for that. Why they want to do it? So what is the purpose of IITs? What they are doing? One is they are teaching people. Apart from teaching people, what are other things they are doing? Any idea? They are involving in research. Then apart from this, any other thing apart from research and all? Any other thing apart from that? Similar to that, we have this NIDM, National Institute of Disaster Management. Right on the first point regarding this is National Institute of Disaster Management. To establish establish dedicated human resources, establish dedicated human resources for disaster management. Next, to perform dedicated human resources for disaster management. Next thing is to perform research and development. Perform research and development in disaster management. Third, to have joint ventures. Third, to have joint ventures with international organizations, foreign countries regarding disaster management. Right now you can see in corona pandemic situation how entire global countries are working for solution, correct? Why they always depend upon India for vaccine? Why they want to depend upon India for vaccine? The reason is we are very good in manufacturing. Please understand, we don't do any research on it, correct? Who is taking the research in the India hand? Which country is taking research on this corona vaccine and they are able to find the formulas they are giving to India? We are mass producing it, correct? Indian medicine is also there. But for example, we know this Serum Institute along with Oxford. Okay. So Oxford developed the formulas, they test in India and Serum has the capacity to mass produce it, correct? So that we can see the international collaboration for disaster management. This is a very visible one right now. Similarly, if we take, for example, flood situations. When you take India and floods, with which country we need to work in close quarters? For example, if we take Ganges are known for floods, correct? With which country we need to have better relation to control floods in Ganges? Huh? China is one. Apart from China, which is the other country, China is one. Apart from that, for example, Bangladesh. Take example, Nepal. We need to have better relation with Nepal. So NIDM is able to create this joint venture with other countries. Okay. The next is challenges in disaster management. I'll repeat the last point. To have joint ventures with international organizations, foreign countries regarding disaster management. The next thing is challenges. So though we say about disaster management, why in India it's not very effective? Why in India disaster management is not effective? So every disaster we can see the impact is very high, government is not responding properly, correct? What are problem in that system? As a common man, what are the issues you face out during disasters? If you are in Chennai floods, you have the great experience of it, correct? Yes? High population is one. Then apart from this, any other thing? High population is a challenge. Then? Improper planning. Okay, then improper planning. Then any other thing apart from this? Poor drainage system floods. Then? Logistic is a problem. Then any other thing apart from this? Federal? Great. That's a great point. Federal dispute is a great point. We'll see that. That's the second year's recommendation. Then any other thing apart from this? Just use your common sense. That's it. We'll see the points, then we can see from second year's recommendation perspective. Mobilization of forces, that is also a problem, correct? Then climate change is the problem. Whatever we do, climate change is the biggest problem. Global level is a problem, correct? So we list out few points. First one is lack of coordination. So lack of coordination, especially among state agencies. State means here union government and state government. So lack of coordination among state agencies. So when you have disaster, which are the forces being put into actions? For example, if there is a flood situation, what are the forces being put into actions by the government? One is we can see NDRF, SDRF, then we have state police and army coming into picture. But everyone says that they want to rescue the people, but they will work in different departments, they'll never interact. Ultimately, you get confused what they're doing. That time, this Chennai floods time, our flood situation increased a lot. State police is also there, army was also there here. State police said that you need to vacate the home. When people are getting ready, army came and said, why you are vacating? Literally, people got confused what need to be done. They are asking, right? They are asking whether we want to go out or stay here. But they never interact. Army and police never interact. So lack of coordination is one of the biggest problem. Then next, apart from this, any other thing? And lack of early warning mechanism. So lack of early warning mechanism. So that is also not there for disasters. Third one, poor performance of NDRF. Poor performance of NDRF, correct? So why the NDRF is not very effective? Ultimately, you can see that army coming finally. Why NDRF is not effective? What may be the reason for this? Any reason behind this? Why NDRF is not effective? Less training. That's a great point. To understand less training, I don't know how many of you have able to remember this information. Once there was a oil spill in Chennai. You able to remember that? There was once an oil spill in Chennai 2 or 3 years before. And NDRF was asked to remove the oil. And what technology they were using, any idea? They use buckets to remove oils, correct? That everyone can do. Why we need to have NDRF? Even we can go and remove the oil, correct? So lack of training is one of the biggest problem, correct? So lack of training. Apart from this, if we take NDRF personals, they are deputed. What does deputation means? What does deputation means? They work in one organization. For time being, they are moved to some other organization. Even if you go for All India service like IAS, IPS, you will be deputed for central government. You may be an IPS officer in your home state. For 3 to 4 years, you work for CBI, NIA. Then you need to come back to your home state. That's called deputation. And if you take NDRF, all the persons are deputed from central police forces. One of the biggest problem here is they doesn't have motivation to work in NDRF. They work for 2 years. They clearly know that after they go for parent organization. So they're not committed there. So these are few problems of NDRF. One is training is not there and technology is not there. Proper technologies are not there. And also lack of motivation. And fourth challenges is reactive measures. Mostly in India, if we take disaster management. So someone is asking, sir, how oil can be removed? Bacteria can be used, but how effective or quick is it? I think there are some nanotechnologies for it. I'm not very sure. I'm just saying. During the time, that was the biggest criticism. There are some nanotechnologies are there. If you throw that on the oil, that suck it up. After a few days, you can remove all the oil. But that time, they want to have a quick actions. They use buckets for it. Correct? That time, everyone was laughing. What is this different measures? Just please understand, Tamil Nadu is always an innovative state. Okay, we have a lot of innovative peoples here. Okay, right from Sellur Raju we have. Okay, so that Tamil Nadu will be like that only. So in India, most of the time disaster management is reactive measures. What is reactive measures means? What is reactive measures means? So most of the time, government will respond after disasters. But what are the other best way of responding to disasters? What are other best way of responding to a disasters? Proactive measures. We are not related to proactive measures, more about reactive measures. This is also biggest criticism. So we are more about reactive measures. And finally, lack of people awareness and participation. Lack of people's awareness and participation, correct? So if you take awareness and participation, especially India, when you go and say about any measures for disaster management, as a citizen, is that we are following it? Can you give some examples for it? Government suggests some measures for us. Please understand this is a disaster situation. Follow these guidelines. But as a common man, what we always do is, one is we are not aware of that. Even if we are aware of that, we are not ready to accept it, correct? What a good example. Take example of this corona pandemic, right? Government said that you need to wear a mask. But how are people are more innovative in that? Wearing a mask, how people are more innovative in it, correct? What is the purpose of wearing a mask? You want to protect your nose and mouth because that's the place where virus can enter, correct? But what our people will do? Okay, you ask to wear a mask, correct? The mask will be here, correct? Or else it will be like this. Or else they put it here and they'll say that's our mask, correct? So like that you can see that social distancing in India is not possible, it's a crowded place, correct? But we should be conscious. Wearing a mask or sanitizing, all will never follow it. That's the biggest problem in India. We can't convince the people. That's the problem in urban area. In rural area, how people are responding to corona. Even from villages, how people are responding to corona. You know this neem leaves? 3 or 4 leaves, they take it and put in a packet. Or they put in front of their two-wheelers. They say that corona will not do anything. Correct? So it's a god. Nothing will happen to me. You can't go and convince him, please understand, wear a mask. No. Nothing will happen to me, correct? So lack of participation is also another problem in disaster management. Okay. The next one is second ARC and disaster management. What we saw right now is all challenges, but we'll see from technical point of view what may be the solutions for it. Second ARC, Second Administrative Reforms Commission. The title of the report is Crisis Management. The title of the report is Crisis Management. So in villages, there are few villages, they are very proactive. Someone is saying that in certain villages they have their own checking squad and all those things are there. Certain villages are good, but most of the villages are very God-fearing people, correct? And everything they related to God. And even they say a story. Corona is nothing, it's a way of Modi cheating us, okay, Trump cheating us, state government is getting money out of it. There is no such thing, it's a normal fever. That is the people's perception. It's not every village is like that, okay. So in the second ASEAN crisis management, first one is 7th schedule. First one is 7th schedule. So can anyone say what is the importance of this 7th schedule? Anyone able to remember the importance of this 7th schedule? It's where it is related, 7th schedule. So 7th schedule is regarding list, correct? There are 3 lists. Union list, state list, concurrent list. So can anyone say who got the authority to make the law and union list? Who got the authority to make the law and union list? That is what we call as central government or union parliament. State legislative assembly. Concurrent list, both union parliament and state legislative assembly. Which law will prevail? Which law will prevail if there is an issue in that law? Union parliament. This is called as quasi-federal. I'm just giving an idea, that's it. We'll relate with disaster. So India is not true federation. We have strong central tendency. One such point is this one, where concurrent list is being dominated by union parliament. But in true federation, whose law will prevail is, for example, if we take US is a true federation. In concurrent list, there's an issue. Which law will prevail is? Always state law. But here in India, it's union parliament. My question is, right now take the topic of atomic energy. Under which list it comes? Very common sense. Larger area, government need to spend a lot of money, research development need to be done. So which government will be taking responsibility for atomic energy? Union, correct? So when you take atomic energy, similarly railways, this all comes under union list. Agriculture comes under state list. Environment comes under concurrent list. Concurrent list. So how it is related to disasters? For example, if there is any issue in atomic energy plant or any issue in railways, who will be very close to the disaster point is union government or state government? For example, right now we have Kalpakam, any issues in Kalpakam, which government is very close for responding is? State government, correct? But constitutionally where it belongs is union government. I'll give another good example for understanding how constitution is a deadlock here. 2008, what is the importance of 2008 to India? 2008, able to remember? 2008 global level is economic crisis. India 2008, what happened? Anyone able to remember 2008 in India? From security point of view. Mumbai terror attack, correct? Can anyone say how many days we took to eliminate the terrorist? Mumbai terror attack means you can relate with Taj Hotel, correct? How many days we took to eliminate the terrorist? Any idea? We took around 3 days. And which force was responsible for it? Which force was responsible for eliminating the terrorist? We call it as NSG or Black Cats. They came on the last day. On the third day they came and eliminated the terrorist. My question is, first 2 days what was happening there? First 2 days what was happening there? First 2 days Maharashtra police were exploring all the options. Because police comes under which list? Union list or state list? State list. Maharashtra government said that we will take care of this problem and we have the adequate human resources. We know how to eliminate the terrorist. For 2 days they explore all the options. Then only they found out that they are no match for the terrorist, correct? Visibly we can also see it, correct? Terrorist means what weapons they have? What weapons they have as a terrorist? From the picture itself we can see that. AK-47, correct? State police, what we have? State, okay, SLR is okay. It's not given to everyone. What state police, what we have is what have. For example, if constable want to oppose the terrorist there, what a constable we have is a Latti, correct? Can a Latti match with AK-47? And even we have British Enfield rifles, correct? Literally they thought that, okay, we are not a match for terrorists, we can ask the help of central government. Then central government said that no problem, we send NSG. On the third day, we are able to eliminate the terrorist. Can you understand the point? The reason is the constitutional deadlock. Because police comes under state list. So like this, lot of issues are there when going for disasters. So what second year's recommendation read out? 7th schedule. To amend 7th schedule. Amend 7th schedule. To include disaster management as part of concurrent list. As part of concurrent list. This ensures coordinated effort. This ensures coordinated effort between union government and state government for disaster management. So can anyone say why terrorists choose Mumbai? Why they want to choose Mumbai? A lot of cities are there in India. Why they want to choose Mumbai? Not industry. Mumbai is not industry. Yeah. One is coastal city, very close to Pakistan. Okay, that may be the last factor. What with other things? That may be a reason, correct? They can, from Karachi, they can reach Mumbai very easily. Any other factors apart from this? Population, India is populated. Anywhere you can go, correct? Another reason is, please understand why they target Mumbai is because it's a financial capital. They want to send message not only to India, to send the message to the entire world, correct? India is not safe. We are attacking the financial capital, correct? Similarly, which is the other place they selected? One is Mumbai, terrorist attack happened. Which is the other city being, we have a terrorist attackers? Delhi. Why they choose Delhi? It's not financial capital is Mumbai. Why they want to choose Delhi is, why they attack parliament? A lot of locations are there. Why they want to attack parliament? Please understand, India says a democracy, correct? And what is the temple of democracy is? Parliament. They want to say to the global world, please understand, parliament is not safe. We can attack them, correct? Please understand, terrorist attack has a multiple purpose. One is not only to end the life, they want to send message to India across the world. They choose Delhi, they choose Mumbai. Probably what may be the next location is? Chennai, okay. Chennai may be in the list, but what will be the next location is? What will be the next location if you want to make an intelligent guess? They went to Parliament, they went to Mumbai, correct? What will be the next one is? Okay, racecourse, not racecourse road, then apart, it will be highly secured, correct? Which is the other location they'll choose this, because India says that we are in that area, we are the superpower, all those stuff, correct? Next they go for Bangalore, correct? Bangalore's IT capital. So you're saying that Indian economy is based on services. We are good writing software. Correct? Okay. So right now cities are being secured a lot. After this Mumbai terror attack, Indian government learned a lot of lessons and they have created NSG units. Previously, NSG was located in Haryana. Right now, they're putting NSG units very close to the cities. So government is learning, but terrorists are also working on it, correct? Right now, what type of warfare is transforming? That is also important. Right? Not only terrorism is a warfare, what the other thing they are doing is cyber warfare is also happening. Okay. The next one is second recommendation. This is first one's regarding 7th schedule. Next one is evolution of legal framework. Second one is evolution of legal framework. Evolution of legal framework. So in that first point is to strengthen disaster management plan. Strengthen disaster management plan at district level to enhance efficiency for disaster response. Efficiency for disaster response. So can anyone say what is the problem in national plan? For disaster management, you should not create a national plan. What is the problem in national plan? District may be the best plan. Disaster management, the district level is the best one. When you go for national plan, what is the problem in national plan? Just use your common sense. What is the problem in national plan? For example, flood management plan for entire India. It will be a failure. Can you say why it will be a failure? National plan for flood management for entire India. Geographical distribution. Simple way of saying is if you're creating a national plan, we call it as one size fits all. One size fits all never work. Just note down this term. You can use it in your answer writing. One size fits all. In India, it will never work because India is a diverse country. Creating a national plan for development or for disaster never works. That is the reason why Planning Commission failed. Because Planning Commission worked on this approach, one size fits all. But India is a diverse country. So district plan is always advisable one. So right on second point. The national education plan also failed. Okay. So I don't know what happens to national education plan. One aspect is right now we can see that it's my opinion. Okay, you can accept it or deny it. Right now we can see that government is also always working on this idea, correct? Simple thing. Take One India here. What are the things they are creating right now? One India, one election. Then apart from this, One India, one ration card. Okay, then anything apart from this, One India, apart from this, what are the other things they are creating? One India, one election, One India, one ration card. Next thing is One India, one market. One India, one market. Then anything apart from this? So government is primarily focusing on creating One India, but it's a very challengeable one because India is a diverse country, correct? After a few years only we know what will be the real impact. They are seeing only from efficiency point of view, but India is so diverse. So that's the reason why Planning Commission failed, because one size fits all. That's the first point. You should create a district plans rather than national plans. Second point is right on second point. To have mock drills, to have periodic mock drills, to check the effectiveness of disaster plans, and modify based on socio-economic technological changes. To understand what this mock drill is, after this 2008 Mumbai terror attack, you can see that every year in India we have this coastal security mock drill. I don't know how many of you check this in newspapers. Every year in India we conduct it, and three forces are involved in it. What are three forces are involved in it? Coastal security mock drill. Okay, international waters. Who is responsible for international waters? If they want to secure India international level, who is responsible for it? Is Indian Navy. And territorial waters. Who is responsible for territorial waters? Is Coast Guard. And we have coastal police. Every year in coastal states we have this mock drills. Why they do a mock drill is to check whether the plan is perfect. Any modification need to be done. Similarly, for this disaster management plan, we need to do a mock drill. Simple thing, right now you are writing mock test, correct? Why you are writing a mock test? You prepare for the examination, write a mock test, you know where you stand, what are changes need to be done, then you can rework on it, correct? Similarly, we need to have mock drills for disaster management plan, okay? Because environment is changing very fast, okay? And next is, this is regarding this second point regarding evolution of legal framework. Third one is, institutional framework. Third one is institutional framework. Third one is institutional framework. My question is, if you implement any programs or policies, is that we need to have political support for it? Implementing any programs or policies, is that political support is required? Or another way of asking a question is, when a government changes, when a new party come into power, is there any chances that previous government's programs and policies can be thrown out? Any chances like that? Can you give any examples like that? Because when party changes power, the previous government programs and policies will be thrown out. Any examples like that? So can you give any examples like that? Take example, Tamil Nadu is known for it. Because in Tamil Nadu, there are two dominant parties. One is DMK and ADMK, correct? Any good examples in Tamil Nadu? Because it was created by another party, why we want to support it? We can throw that programs outside, even though it's beneficial for the people. There are two classic examples in Tamil Nadu. Okay. Is that you able to identify a program called Ulavar Sandai? Ulavar Sandai, that farmers market, correct? What a benefit in this concept is? What a benefit in the concept is? Okay, for example, no intermediaries. As a farmer, what are the benefit they are going to get is? The best prices, high profit. As a consumer, what they are going to get is? Fresh and less price, because there is no middleman. But this program was thrown out because it was created by another party. For example, DMK created it, ADMK never supported it. Another good example, you know this, in Chennai, there's an infrastructure, right? So actually the purpose of the infrastructure is to have assembly and secretariat. A building was constructed in Tamil Nadu. But right now what the purpose is? Hospital. It's a good decision. Because you created a building for able-bodied individuals. Right now you're using as a hospital, correct? So what really shows is, whenever a party changes, there are chances that programs and policies can be thrown out. Even it happened in union level. When the BJP came into power, you know this MG Narega? MG Narega was created by Congress government. If you go and check the first budget of BJP, they reduced the allocation for MG Narega. Why they want to reduce the allocation for MG Narega? Though it's beneficial for the people, why they want to reduce it? Use a common sense. Why they want to reduce that MG Narega allocation is? Because among common man, what will be the belief is MG Narega is created by Congress. So that doesn't want to give that political mileage. But after they found out that in Indian economy, if you want to revive the rural economy, MG Narega is a primary one. After that, they began to enhance the allocation. First two budgets, go and check, allocation was minimized. How that is related to this point as institutional framework is, read on the point, read on. Okay, first point is to establish all party national committee. Establish all party national committee comprising Prime Minister as chairman and state, union territory, chief ministers as members as members to provide necessary political support for disaster management. Second point, to create cabinet committee on disaster management for quick decision making and better coordination among ministries. Next thing is role of local self-government. Fourth one, role of local self-government. So can anyone say why in disaster management we need to depend upon local self-government? Local self-government means panchayats or municipalities. Why we want to depend on them? What is the advantage in this? They know the better demographics. Then any other advantages? Right now there's a flood in Chennai. Why we need to depend upon Chennai Corporation rather than union government or state government? Most of the infrastructures are developed. Okay. My question is, why you need to depend upon local government? There are some natural advantages for local government. What are the natural advantages is? Regarding disaster point. They know the frequencies. Regarding the role of local self-government, first point is effective use of local knowledge. During disaster management. What does this local knowledge means? So if you take November, December Chennai, what is the worst aspect of November, December Chennai? Any idea? November, December Chennai, what is the worst aspect of that things? November, December we have in Chennai the monsoon time. Rest of India, monsoon is from July to September. But in Chennai it's November, December, October to December. It's now northeast monsoon will be there in Chennai. And they always advise during that time. And you know that Chennai floods are very worst. If you are not experiencing that, you never know what. So Chennai seems to be a good place. Okay, summer seems to be hot. But Chennai floods is the worst thing. What a problem in Chennai floods is, you will not have only the rainwater. So what will be the other water along with that thing is? Okay, what other water will be along with that thing is? Drainage waters. And during Chennai floods, people always suggest that go by the road which you know. Can you say what is the reason for this? Which road you use frequently, you go by that road. Can you say what is the reason behind that? What will be the reason is? Because of manholes, correct? And if Chennai floods is very high, what will be the people doing is, they just remove the manholes so that water can drain. If you are going in a new road, you doesn't know where is this manhole is. Ultimately what happens? So you will be only in Bay of Bengal only, correct? So that will be the reality. That's called local knowledge aspect. Okay. So Chennai floods are the worst thing. Another worst aspect of this Chennai floods is in UPSC calendar, what will happen in the month of October, November, UPSC calendar? Mains examination, correct? And UPSC will not change the date. Whatever happens here, you need to go and write the examinations. So if you are writing a mains examination in Chennai, apart from the subject knowledge, you should be a good swimmer also. Because then only you can reach the examination hall. Sometimes it will be so worse that no one helps you. Even auto person will not come. Even cab drivers will not come. They come on 1 or 2 kilometers before and they say that you go down. And you will be like a refugee. Okay, taking everything on your head and going to the examination hall. Okay, and reaching there and writing the examinations. And there will be a lot of personal stories once you get into services. Once the media comes, even you can say to your next generation, how I wrote my mains examination, you know. Exam correct? So Chennai is worst in that time. Okay, local knowledge is the best part of this local self-government. And the second one is the response time. The response time in disaster management. Response time in disaster management can be reduced due to participation of local self-government. Due to participation of local self-government. Someone is asked to repeat the last point in institutional framework. Last point is to establish cabinet committee on disaster management for quick decision making and effective coordination. Our next recommendation is, next one is risk reduction. Next one is risk reduction. Risk reduction. At district level, if I'm fast, let me know it. Okay. At district level, to prepare vulnerability map and hazard analysis map. Hazard analysis map by using modern technologies, such as GPS, GIS and MIS. GPS, GIS and MIS. What this hazard analysis map means? Identifying hazard hotspots. You can write it on the bracket. Identifying hazard hotspots. And vulnerability map means identifying socio-economic hotspots. What are the socio-economic hotspots and hazard hotspots? Assume Chennai as a district. What are the hazard hotspots in Chennai? Which locations in Chennai that potential for disaster is very high? Okay, coastal area is one. Coastal area we have possibility of tsunami. Apart from this, what may the other locations where in Chennai we have a hazard hotspots? Potential for disaster is very high. You can think from your native place also, correct? One is the coastal area and we have Kalpakkam, correct? Very close to us. These are the hazard hotspots. What is socio-economic hotspots means? If you take Chennai, which are the economic hubs of Chennai? Which are the economic hubs of Chennai? Economic activity happening in Chennai. Which are the locations known for it? Okay, one is Tidal Park. This ECR Road is known for software industries. Then manufacturing sector, where in Chennai we have Sipcot is there, correct? Ambattur is there, correct? So what you do is you are able to identify all these things based on this GPS, GIS and MIS. GPS means Global Positioning System. It's a US system. Right now what we use in Ola, Uber or any traveling, correct? What are the equivalent of this in global level? Any idea? What are the equivalent of this in global level? GPS. GPS is US initiative. What about Russian initiative of this? Any idea? This can be a prelims question. Okay. Please understand it's GLONASS. GLONASS is the Russian initiative and Indian initiative is IRNSS. Can anyone say why India created this IRNSS similar to GPS? What may be the reason behind it? So that's a basic reason is during Kargil conflict, US just switched off GPS. What a problem in switching off GPS during wartime? During wartime, if you switch off your GPS, what happens there? Okay, map is one. Apart from this, you can't use your missile technologies. Air Force cannot go and bomb the enemy areas, correct? All depends upon GPS. So we created this IRNSS. This is once a prelims question. What is this IRNSS? GIS means Geographical Information System. GIS means Geographical Information System. So you get the geographical information of the locality. For example, Chennai means coastal area and weather. All this comes under GIS. Next thing is MIS, Management Information System. MIS means Management Information System. So what is this Management Information System means? Assume that you are a district collector and government says that within 2 days there will be a flood. What are the infrastructures you look upon to save people's life? If you are a district collector and 2 days there will be a flood in your district where government gives the warning, what are infrastructures you look upon to save people's life? Basic requirement is you need to put people in large quantities. You need to have basic communities for them, correct? What infrastructure you look upon? What infrastructure? Where you can accommodate people in thousands, where there's a proper water, sanitation is there. Which locations you always scan for it? One is schools. Apart from schools, what mean the other thing is? Schools is one. Apart from schools, what other things in your district you look upon? School, you can accommodate large number of people. Marriage halls, community halls. Then apart from this, hospitals, okay. On stadiums we can look upon, correct? Traditional infrastructure, for the traditional infrastructure you look upon is, okay, temples, correct? What is MIS means? Just by a click of mouse you get all these informations in your district, which are the high-lying areas where you have the hospitals, where you have the schools, stadiums, so you can accommodate large number of people. That all comes under MIS, Management Information System. You use all these modern technologies to prepare these maps. Can you understand the point? Okay. My question is, what are the purpose of temples in our Indian society? So why we have temples in our Indian society? I'm asking especially from ancient and medieval times we have so many temples, correct? What are the purpose of those temples? This is an interview question, UPSC interview. Why we have temples in India? What are the purpose of temples? Show the wealth of the king, okay. Then apart from this, or you can say that to store the wealth. Can you say which is the most richest temple in India? Okay, which is the richest temple? Don't assume it's Tirupati. It's Padmanabhaya temple in Kerala. So they have gold worth of a lakh of crores. Okay. Then apart from this, what means the purpose of temples? To store wealth is one. Apart from this, any other purpose of temples apart from this, based on your understanding? Okay, grains, please understand, temples acts as a seed bank. You know this kalasam where you put that navadhaniyams, correct? That's all the seed bank. That is one. Then apart from this, is that, you know, temple act as food corporation of India. Big temples, when you go for that main deity, above that will be wooden log. Once you remove that, entire will be food grains. That is the reason during ancient and medieval times, whenever problem, people go for temple. Why they want to go for temple is, they have the basic things. Food will be there. Food grains, food corporation of India. And apart from this, temple also acts as a lightning conductor. You know, the temple acts as a lightning conductor. And similarly, temples also associated with economic activities. You go for ancient temples like Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple and all. We have this entire area surrounded by economic activities. Right now what we have malls, during the time temple was doing, correct? Another thing is, why after marriage they ask you to go for temples? Why after marriage they ask you to go for temples? Any reason behind it? You can see your brothers or sisters getting married, they ask you to go and visit temples. Especially certain temples, correct? What will be the reason for it? Spiritual signs, okay. After marriage you need to have it. Okay, then anything apart from this? Any other thing? Anything? Why they ask you to go for temples apart from this? Any other factors? Even you can see in your families, correct? Your elder siblings getting married, they ask you to visit temples. What may be the purpose? Especially old people always say this. Go to this temple and pray and come. What may be the reason behind it? Please understand, temple acts as a sex education. Can you understand the point? They ask you to visit certain temples. They will not explicitly say, go and pray this temple so that you can have a child. They impliedly saying, correct? So temple also acts as a sex education. So there are multiple roles of temples, correct? So that's the purpose of temples. So the next thing is, next recommendation. Positive vibes. Okay, I don't know what the positive vibes is, correct? Going for temple, correct? Okay. So next thing is awareness. Next thing is awareness. So for any government initiative, awareness is required, correct? So when you take awareness means, can you say in India who is being employed for this awareness generation? Any government schemes. We'll see from disaster management point of view. When you take any government schemes or programs, correct? Who is being employed for creating awareness? From which particular segment people are taken for creating awareness? Any government schemes, correct? Like Swachh Bharat or teachers, no. Common man never listen to teachers, correct? Who will be the role models for them? Who will be the role model for the common manners? Celebrities means which are the two domains in India we have celebrities, major two domains. What are two domains? One is sports. Apart from sports, who is the other domain is actors, correct? These are two domains where we have the fan following, so government employs them, correct? But right now in India, these two are also combined, correct? Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma. The two point combined. But that's not an issue. But my basic question is this people knowledgeable people? Is this people from sports and cinema knowledgeable about the society? What's your viewpoint on it? If they are knowledgeable, most of them never know what is happening around them, correct? What are good examples for this? What are good examples for this? Even basic things they never know. Even basic things they're not aware of it. But because they are cine stars, they come and do an advertisement. They have fan following, correct? And what are good examples like that? Any good examples to say that people without knowledge are there at that level? But government depends on them. Good example is one is this personality in, there's a lady, the heroine in Bollywood, correct? She doesn't know about the basic things about India. Even Anushka Sharma got into trouble once. After death of Abdul Kalam, she put a Twitter statement saying that I'm feeling sorry for Abul Kalam Azad. Then people said that please understand there's a difference between Abdul Kalam and Abul Kalam Azad. Who was Abul Kalam Azad? And unable to identify Abul Kalam Azad. Freedom fighter and first educational minister. They began to put like this. Please understand whom you are referring is the first education minister. Abdul Kalam is very different. Okay. And similarly take sports personalities. Recently, which sports personality got into trouble for coffee with Karan, correct? Coffee with Karan. Two sports personalities got into trouble. Hardik Pandya and Rahul, correct? They were speaking like anything. They are not knowing that people are watching it and especially younger generations are watching them. My basic point is, though they are the role models, but they are not aware of anything around them, correct? Even if you take Tamil Nadu, is all cine stars knowledgeable in Tamil Nadu? Literally no, correct? And who's a good example for understanding this? They doesn't know what is happening around them. Who's a good example for it? We can start with Rajinikanth itself, correct? Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, please understand right now after starting party only what Kamal Hassan speaks we are able to understand. Before starting party we go and see his speeches and all. You need to have a Konar Tamilurai on your side. He speaks only in Tamil, you need to have a guide for Tamil. He speaks such a literary language no one understands, correct? Okay. So write down what is the awareness aspect is. First point is awareness. Okay. Awareness is first point is effective use of media. Effective use of media for awareness, such as print, electronic, and social media. Print, electronic, and social media. My question is, which media reaches every Indians? If you want to create an awareness, which media reaches every Indians? If that is a question in interview, which media you can effectively use for creating awareness? Right now, if you're a district collector, which media is the best one? Print, electronic, social media. Social media, don't say it. Okay, electronic media. So we need to go for our Prime Minister, correct? Every month where our Prime Minister goes and speaks is Man Ki Baat in radio, correct? Why he choose radio? It's not TV, it's not Facebook. Why he choose radio? Because radio is a platform which reaches entirely every Indians, correct? So radio is that platform. Don't say the answer social media. Social media means technological knowledge need to be there, purchasing power need to be there. But radio, you can sit in a tea shop and listen it. Okay. Second point is use of local language. Use of local language to create awareness. Use of local language to create awareness. So we just take a break for 5 minutes, then we go for the remaining aspects. We take a break for 5 minutes. So let me go for the next one. Next recommendation. Disaster management. Next recommendation. Disaster management as part of development plan. So disaster management as part of development plan. To understand this, we need to go for the month of October, November in Chennai. What are the festivals associated with this month, October, November, India level? These 2 or 3 months we have a lot of festivals. What are those festivals? One is Diwali is there apart from Diwali. We have Christmas, we have New Year, correct? Especially Diwali means, which location we can see in Chennai shown in news channels and all. Where there will be thousands of people in that locations, correct? So Sauka part only can see in T Nagar, correct? T Nagar they show you every year. Thousands of people will be there. My question is, what may be the potential disaster can happen in T Nagar according to you from disaster point of view? Fire is one. Apart from fire, what may be the other one? What may be the other one? Apart from fire, earthquake is for entire Chennai. Eh? Mob lynching. Apart from lynching, you can see that stampede is the biggest problem. Correct. If there is any issues, the places are very narrow. Correct. What a problem there? Why that can happen there? One is fire incident can happen and also stampede can happen. What is the failure there? What is the failure is there? Where they failed in that particular area for disaster point of view? Because T Nagar is not suitable for commercial activities, correct? One of the area where they failed is this urban planning, correct? So urban planning is not very proper. Or another way of saying this is, assume that in this room we have one door, correct? Okay. If there is a fire, what happens? So everyone need to go for that door. Probably I will be the first person, correct? Jump there and go there, correct? So urban planning is also the biggest factor in disaster management. That's the point. What they say is disaster management is part of development plan. Right on the point here. While determining development plan for any region, disaster management need to be an important criteria. Example, disaster management as part of urban planning, especially CBD. What does CBD means? Anyone have an idea in urban planning CBD? CBD means Central Business District. CBD means Central Business District. Central Business District. Next recommendation is mitigation measures. Next one is mitigation measures, or what we call it as preventive measures. So to understand what this mitigation measures is, before disaster, you need to be more preventive. That we call it as mitigation measures. We take certain disaster for understanding. For example, if we take flood, what are preventive measures for flood? We know that flood will happen. What are the preventive measures for it? Proper drainage. Okay, one is proper natural drainage. Then apart from this, what maybe the other things can be done for flood situation? If you want to minimize flood, what can be done? One is you have a proper natural drainage system. Then any other thing? What are other things to control floods? Preventive measures. Okay, infrastructure development. Okay. Then any other thing apart from this? Just use your common sense. Right now, flood situations are very high. What can be done as a preventive measures? One is you can go for a proper natural drainage system. When there is a river, lake, you maintain that properly. Then apart from this, clear off encroachments. Okay. Removing encroachments. Then apart from this, what may the other things can be? Check dams, that can be great. Check dams can be great. Then apart from this, what government is saying? So government is creating one big program for it. They're saying that in India, certain areas we have floods, certain areas we have drought. So what can be done for that thing is government is coming out with some big programs. Interlinking rivers, that's correct. Interlinking of rivers. Interlinking of rivers. And afforestation. Afforestation. So these are few examples of floods in preventive measures. Similarly, if you take drought. So drought means lack of water. So what can be done for this? If you want to minimize the water usages, what can be done? Lack of water. Lack of water is drought. What can be done for it? Rainwater harvesting. Right now, if you are in urban areas, you can go for rainwater harvesting. Then apart from rainwater harvesting, so what can be done for efficient use of waters? What can be done for it? Area specific agriculture. Okay, area specific agriculture. Area specific agriculture. Similarly, another one is, you know, this term called micro irrigation. Micro irrigation, correct? So micro irrigation is another one. What you call as sprinkler or drip irrigation comes under micro irrigation. Similarly, you can go for example, cropping patterns. Can go for cropping patterns. To understand this cropping pattern and drought conditioners, take example Punjab, Haryana. Punjab, Haryana, one of the biggest problem is water crisis, correct? What can be done to remove that water crisis? Because Punjab, Haryana is dominated by agriculture, correct? What crop dominate there? Okay, wow, wheat is one. Apart from wheat, we have rice there, correct? So if you change the cropping pattern, you're able to minimize the water usages. Similarly, water charges. So because water is a free commodity, is that we give respect for water? Literally no, correct? Take ourselves. If there is any public tap, water is being wasted, we never bother, correct? You bought a Bisleri for 20 rupees. What do? You safeguard as your child, correct? Keep it properly and put it on a bag, correct? So ultimately, you see, why we give that importance? Same water, why we give that importance for Bisleri water? Not only commercial, what is the next thing? What is the next biggest thing is? Why you want to give importance for it? Because we paid it. That is how government is coming out with the idea. Charge water, so people will be very conscious in using waters, right? So these are few of the mitigation measures, or preventive measures for flood and drought. Similarly, for every disaster, you can relate with this. So another way of understanding what are these mitigation measures or preventive measures is, my question is, once you get into services, what are the biggest impact in your life? Once you get into services, you are an IAS, IPS. What are the biggest impact in your life? Negative impact. What is the negative impact in your life if you are an IAS, IPS officer? Positive, everyone knows it, correct? You enjoy the authority, you have the career advancement, all this we know. What will be the negative impact in your life because of civil services? Privacy, okay, you're losing your privacy. That's one. Okay, then apart from this, family time, work-life balance will not be there, correct? You cannot spend time with your families, that's sure. Keep in mind, once you get into services, don't assume that you are going to enjoy the services. Who is going to enjoy the services? Who is going to enjoy your services? You are a district collector. Who is going to enjoy that position as a district collector? You will be 24/7 in office. But who is going to enjoy that position of a district collector? Please understand, always your life partner. Life partner is going to enjoy the life. You will be the district collector, but they'll get all the respect. Collector Amma. Correct? So you need to crack the examination, but who will be enjoying the life is your life partner and your sons and daughters. Okay. The work-life balance will be compromised. Then apart from this, what will be the other thing is? Please understand, in civil service, one of the biggest impact is your personal health. How it has the biggest impact in your personal health if you are in services? Because this is a job with high level of stress. You need to do an action, you should not do an action, there will be 100 calls for you, correct? Some will say, go and take an action. Some will say, no, don't take an action. You literally get confused in that. High level of stress. Apart from high level of stress, no physical activity, correct? Ultimately, what happens to you? No physical activity, high level of stress. And eating disorders, correct? Ultimately, what happens to you? Health issue means what the first starting point of your health issue is. Not diabetes is next one. First one is you became overweight. What the outcome of overweight is? Diabetes. What the outcome of diabetes is? Heart problems, correct? BP and heart problems. Is that you know that in Tamil Nadu Secretariat, any meeting you conduct, meeting need to be end by afternoon 1:30. Why that is important is because most of the officials, they need to have their lunch at the proper time and to have their medication. Once they miss the medication, you need to call the ambulance 108. That's the level there, correct? Because of high level of stress. What Prime Minister says for this? What's the Prime Minister's suggestion for this? Preventive measure, what our Prime Minister says? Do yoga, correct? Yoga is always the best preventive mechanism, right? Even to understand the stress, is that right now you are feeling the stress or not? I can promise you, please today go and check your weight. After finishing off your prelims, check your weight again. Most of you will be gaining weight. Why you gain weight is high level of stress, eating disorders, correct? How you think that you are not stressed, but reality you'll be highly stressed. How we can understand that thing is sleeping pattern, correct? How many hours you are sleeping right now? Okay, for a good sleep, it should be minimum 6 to 7 hours. Right now you are sleeping for 6 hours. And June 27 is the prelims, correct? Last 1 month, underline this, if you are studying. If you are studying, what will be the sleeping time of you? Last 1 month, last 1 or 2 months, what will be the sleeping time for if you are studying? 4 to 5 hours. 4 hours means you should be very happy. It will be 3 hours, 2.5 hours. What will be the reality is, you go and lie on the bed thinking that you are sleeping. But ultimately what happens, in the middle of the night you just wake up. The reason is, you forgot what is Article 19 is. Okay, you think that you are sleeping, suddenly in the back of your mind, this fundamental rights runs. You get Article 19, what is this Article 19? You get confused, just take a book, open up, read it, close the book, again you sleep, another 2 hours, history gets confused. So you'll be high level of stress. Ultimately what happens is, you gain lot of weight. I'm not exaggerating, that's the reality. Even we have friends with that same problem, correct? And the biggest issue is, what happens is, when you're going to apply for your prelims, June 27 is the prelims. Right now you applied for the prelims, correct? And which photograph you have attached for this photos? They ask to take the recent photos, correct? Sometimes what we do is, we take final year photo and attach there. When you go for interview, another 1 year is there, correct? 1 year of stress, no physical activity, eating disorder. Ultimately what happens? You gain lot of weight. This happened to our friends. Once they go for interview board, what the first question chairman asks is, who is this? And you need to convince the board that I am the same person. Because your picture and reality will be very different. Okay, stress is the biggest problem. So what is mitigation measures right now? They say about floods, drought, even in our personal life, yoga is a mitigation measure. Okay, right, next one is. So next one is building community resilience. Next one is building community resilience. Building community resilience. So what is this point is, right? Effective use of. Okay, if I'm fast, let me know it. Building community resilience. Sir, is there any problem with photograph? Already you applied means don't get bothered. It's not a big issue. Okay, you can convince the board, I am the same person. Don't get bothered with the picture. The aspect is UPSC always recommends you to attach the recent photograph. Okay, that is always advisable. Even if you didn't apply with that, no issues. Recent photograph itself, there will be some changes because 1 year of preparations and sometimes people gain weights. That also happens. Sometimes they lose weight also because of stress. Don't get bothered with the preparation because of this photograph and all. That will not be a determining factor anywhere in UPSC. Okay. But the advisable one is take the recent picture and attach it. If you missed it, no issues. What the thing you should not do is don't go for very old photographs. Sometimes we go to the level of first year, 12th standard photographs. We put there, literally you can see the huge difference. Who is this person? Okay. UPSC will not stop the process because of photograph issues. That will not happen. Okay. The next one is building community resilience. And the first point is effective use of traditional knowledge. Effective use of traditional knowledge in disaster management. Second one, use of community leaders. Use of community leaders in performing rescue and relief operations. Rescue and relief operations. So to understand the first point, we need to go for 2004 tsunami. That is traditional knowledge. Which was the first part of India experiencing tsunami, 2004? Andaman and Nicobar, correct? When you take Andaman Nicobar, what is the unique character of Andaman Nicobar? Tribes. India we have tribes. What is the difference between that tribes and rest of tribes in India? Not isolated, we call them as primitive tribal groups. They are not exposed to modern technologies and modern values, correct? What Indian government thought during the 2004 tsunami was, these tribes will be wiped out because they doesn't have satellite, they doesn't have mobile phones. Indian government thought that they will not know what a tsunami means. But what are the realities? Reality, those tribes were the first responders. Can anyone say how the tribe knows it's a tsunami? How the tribe knows it's a tsunami? What is that traditional knowledge? How they gain the traditional knowledge? One is decreasing sea level. How they know it's a danger? When they say that sea level is decreasing, how they know it's a danger? Experience means anyone's life will be 30, 40 years. In that lifetime, there will be no tsunami, correct? How they got the knowledge? They said that by means of songs, knowledge is being passed in such a way that when a sea resides in, it's a danger sign, go and occupy the high grounds. Second is by understanding the animal behavior. By animal behavior, they understood that there is some danger. What a modern man did during that time, any idea? When sea was residing in, as a modern man, what we are doing? We have the satellites, we have everything with us, but as a modern man, what we are doing? We thought it's a lifetime opportunity, correct? Seeing a seabed. We went inside, collected souvenirs. That time there was no selfie or Facebook. Or else what our people will be doing is lying there and taking a selfie, calling up you and say that for photo like correct? Okay, that's the level. So even traditional knowledge can help us in disaster management. A lot of examples are there in traditional knowledge. Even take medicines. Corona time we see in Tamil Nadu, we have some traditional medicines are being used as a preventive mechanisms. So that's the point. That is called building community resilience. Okay, the next one is. So next recommendation is financial tools. Last few recommendations, financial tools. Financial tools. So what can be recommended for people during disasters because they're going to lose their economic opportunity? What is the best financial tool for them? What are the best financial tools? So they're going to lose their livelihood, they're going to lose their earning power. So ultimately what may be the recommendation for financial tools? Just use your basic sense. Okay, as a common man, disaster can happen at any point of time. If I want to safeguard myself financially, what may be the best tool for it? Right now we are doing it, correct? So what we are doing? For example, you have this health, your life. So what we always do is, you go for insurance. Certain point is to encourage citizens to have insurance to protect against losses, due to disaster. Losses due to disaster. Example, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Can anyone have an idea which sector is related to this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana? Farm, correct? Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, to protect farmers against crop losses, due to natural calamities. And please understand, this insurance also comes into a services. Whenever you are being given key postings or sensitive postings, for example, if you are a diplomat in Afghanistan or if you are a diplomat in Pakistan, what Indian government always says is, not says, they give the file. What the file is? One file is insurance. You need to sign the insurance also. So to safeguard your family. So what government is literally saying is, we don't know what will happen to you. You're going there. Okay. We pray that you come back, or else this will save your family. Okay. They say that we have friends in foreign service. They say that sensitive postings like Afghanistan and Pakistan, government provides you insurance cover. So it runs into a few crores. They provide you insurance covers so that anything happens to you, your family is taken care. Okay. Insurance is not only for a common man. Even if you are in services, it also applies to you. Okay. The next one is last few points. So next one is civil defense. So to understand civil defense, we want to go for the year of 1962. What is the importance of year of 1962 India? 1962 India, what is the importance of that year is? That is India-China war, correct? My question is, what may be the reason for this war? What may be the reason for this India-China war? Why China attacked India? Even right now they are saying like that. Please don't forget 1962, correct? But what will be the reason for this 1962 war? There are multiple factors. Can you say what may be the factors behind this? There are various factors for it. One is Dalai Lama factor. That's one. Tibetan refugees, we encourage them. That is one. Apart from this, border tensions between India and China. Apart from this, there is secondary factor, what we call it as forward policy. And who was the Prime Minister during that time? Who was the Prime Minister of India during that time? Is Nehru, correct? Nehru advised our armed forces to practice this forward policy. What does forward policy means? Right now, this is the border between India and China. Nehru advised Indian armed forces, go and put army post inside Chinese territories, wait for a few weeks. If they are not responding, occupy that area. And go for again extending that area. And who was the president of China during that time? Is India's Prime Minister Nehru. President of China during that time is Mao Zedong. He literally got irritated. Along with this Dalai Lama factor, border issues, Indian government is also focusing on forward policy. They want to teach a lesson. That was the reason for 1962 war. My question is this forward policy right now China is practicing? That China is doing this forward policy right now? In which areas you can see that China is doing that? Coming inside our territories, putting a camp, we need to convince them, please understand this is Indian territory, go out. They come out with maps and they put some things. That was the reason for Ladakh crisis. Can you understand the point? Even some videos are being released in Ladakh attack, correct? How these videos are fabricated. China has released that video, correct? Is that you saw that video? No. Where Indian army people are going inside Chinese territories, like that they fabricated it. And they also saw a Chinese soldiers blood on the face to literally show to the world that India is an aggressor. Reality is also very different there. Okay, right now China is doing this forward policy. We can see in Ladakh, we can see in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. What is civil defense is, Civil defense was established based on 1962 war experiences. The objective are, first one is to carry forward economic activities, carry forward economic activities during wartime. Second, to keep the morale or energy, to keep the morale or energy of the society, to keep the morale or energy of the society high during wartime, high during wartime. Next point in that, the Civil Defense Act. This is the recommendation. Civil Defense Act need to be amended to include disaster management, as a criteria for deploying civil defense personnels. Next, civil defense personnel, second point, civil defense personnel need to be trained in paramedical to perform rescue and relief operations. And last one, emergency medical relief. To establish emergency medical relief. To establish nationwide, if I'm fast, let me know what. Establish nationwide toll-free number for providing emergency services such as paramedical, fire services, police services. In India, 112 is established. In India, 112 is established for this purpose. But my question is, what is the problem in this initiative? When you create a nationwide toll-free number, or any government creating a toll-free number, what will be the problem in India when you're creating a toll-free number? Okay, from government side, what will be the problem? So one is, they will not have so many lines. Language will be a problem on the government side. Mostly they will not pick the calls, correct? From people's side, what will be the problem of this toll-free number from people's side? If you say to a common man, there's a toll-free number. For emergency services, you can call them. What our people will be doing is making a lot of prank calls, correct? They call up by Friday evening, 10 o'clock. Sir, you said emergency services, correct? So shop is closed. You know this Prabha Wines joke, correct? So like that people will be doing. I don't know how many of you read this before this corona time. There was a toll-free number in Tamil Nadu for women helpline. Around 60% of the calls were prank calls. They checked, they called up and say, sir, work I just call you to check whether it's working. Good sir, working sir. Okay, so that's a problem in our toll-free numbers. Just quickly go through what is disaster management. Any clarification, just ask me. Paramedical, police services and fire services. Any clarification, just ask me. Okay, write down the question for this topic. Okay, if you are free, you can write it. In India, there appears to be more of disaster of management than management of disaster. I'll repeat it again. In India, there appears to be more of disaster of management than management of disaster. Comment. And management of disaster. Comment. So any clarification here in this topic? So what is happening in Tamil Nadu politics? Another 1 month we have an election here, correct? So what is happening in Tamil Nadu politics? How many of you going to vote? 1, 2, 3. What about the rest of the other people? No time. You are not? Not in home city. Okay. If they ask in UPS interview whether you vote or not, say a lie. Yes, sir, I voted. Okay. Don't be true in this. If you say that I didn't vote, what will be the reason for that? I'm not in a home city. They will not accept it, correct? You are not a responsible citizen. Okay. So question asked in interviews and all. If you're going this year and all, they'll ask you whether you voted it. Sometimes they ask you the proof. Show your hand. Because you should be a responsible person, correct? So that thing apart, what is happening in Tamil Nadu politics right now? Any interesting announcements in Tamil Nadu politics? Because Tamil Nadu elections are very unique in India. Is that you know it? Because Tamil Nadu is also known for this term called freebies. A lot of frees are given during election times, correct? Previously, what are those frees are given to Tamil Nadu people, sir? What are things given to Tamil Nadu people, sir, because of election promises and all? Mixie, grinder, TV, correct? Fan, laptop, scooter, cycles, correct? Even people asked, you gave everything, but first give the electricity for us, correct? We have mixie, grinder, but nothing is working here. Okay. Then in this selection, what is the promise being done? Any idea? Any unique promises being done? Anyone gone through that? For the first time you're reading, you're seeing, oh, what's new aspect is. So okay, they said that if I win the election, there are two parties saying that if I win the elections for housewives, we are going to give 1,000 rupees one party, another party is saying we are going to give 1,500, correct? So right now housewives are very happy, correct? So their government is promising that they're giving 1,000 or 1,500, correct? But a lot of memes are being created. What are the memes are being created is? Why? Join and give 2,500. Okay, that is one. Okay, that is from positive thing. There are certain memes saying that adella serida first and housewife verumilla, correct? Okay. So they put 90s kids, correct? They put and said that first thing kalyaname agala, correct? So Tamil Nadu politics is very unique. Okay, 6 gas cylinders are free, that's correct. Okay, they are saying all these things. And what about freebies opinion, whether you accept it or deny it? As a common man, whether you accept the freebies or deny it. What do you think about freebies? Whether we need to have it or we can scrap the freebies. Be specific, correct? This can be interview question. Please understand, once you go for Delhi from Tamil Nadu, they'll be very happy for interviews. The reason is, Tamil Nadu is very unique state. Whatever happens here, you can't see in rest of India. A good example for understanding this is when entire India selected BJP as a party. In Tamil Nadu, what happened is, okay, we selected the ADMK or we selected DMK. Please understand, both these parties got 40 MPs once they won the Lok Sabha elections, but not part of the government. Can you understand the point? One of the majority party. So they always in not rest of India, especially North India, they have a very different understanding of Tamil Nadu, correct? Why Tamil Nadu people is like this? They never come and join with mainstream. That's a psyche also here, correct? And even when you go for, this is not the problem in Tamil Nadu people and all. Even if you go for training phase itself, we can see the problem. Once you go for training, people from Tamil Nadu, especially South India and especially people from Tamil Nadu, they never go and mingle with others. They always create a mini Tamil Nadu wherever they go. Okay. Where we can see it, once the results comes, even booking a flight ticket, what people do is they create a WhatsApp group, 2021 civil servants WhatsApp group. All Tamil Nadu people will be there, putting the same ticket on the same flight. They go and land in the same day, go for the same venue. They even say that Tamil Nadu people go everywhere as a combined group, correct? Not only for the classes, mess, even to toilet they go as a group only, correct? That's the level of thing. Even this happened to a friend. So when he went for this training academy, you know that accommodation will be given for you. So what happened is he saw the accommodations. In that accommodations, along with him, there was another North Indian guy to share the room. He went to the course director, like Vasul Raja MBPS. Sir, what is the procedure? Okay. And he was asking, sir, my friend is in the second floor, I am in the first floor. Okay, can we be in the same room? Course director said, that is the reason you are in the first floor, he is in the second floor. Okay, you should not be combined. So that is also a problem here. Okay. Cannot EC disallow freebies. Please understand, Supreme Court gave a verdict regarding freebies. Freebies is a part of directive principles of state policies. That's a verdict given by Supreme Court. So Election Commission cannot stop that. They say it's a part of social programs. Kerala also we have 19 MPs from Congress. Okay, that's there. So no freebies make people lazy, may reduce their capacity and thought to earn. That's not, please understand, there are certain freebies very beneficial. Can you list out certain freebies beneficial for a common man? Cycle is one. Cycle has proven that it has increased the education, especially for women in rural areas. Apart from this, Corona time laptop, very useful, correct? So there are few freebies are very useful, but freebies are going to the next level, correct? Right now we are moving towards Scooty. Scooty as a freebie. Probably in future, what may be the freebies is to attract the votes and all. Okay, Apple phone. Right now, one party has said that we are going to give car for each family. We don't know how they're going to get the money for that. Probably they say with the strong sense that they're not going to win the elections, correct? They're saying that for each family, they're going to give a car. So that's not possible. So that you can take a stand. So then we go for the next topic in this. Next topic is accountability. Next topic is accountability. Accountability. Write down what is accountability means. Answerability for accountability means answerability for public actions. Answerability for public actions in development process. Okay. Someone is saying citizens pay the taxes. I disagree with the usage of the term freebie itself. Okay, that's a good stand. You can take any stand on it, whether you accept the freebies or not, because Article 19 applies for everyone. Okay. So next point is the civil servants and political class. Civil servants and political class or answerable for socio-economic process, socio-economic development process in the society. So when you take this term accountability means it's more about your answerability, correct? So in a development process, there are few people answerable for our development. One, it can be a minister or it can be a civil servant, correct? Similarly, in personal life also accountability is there, correct? So right now to whom you are answerable is parents. Apart from parents, please understand who is the first person you are answerable. Okay, right now preparing for civil service, who is the first person you are answerable? Not mom, correct? I'll define accountability. Accountability means answerability for public action in development process. Accountability means answerability for public actions in development process. Please understand, to whom you are answerable is, first person is to yourself, whether I am studying or not. Okay. Then second one is your parents. Who's the third one in the line is? Who's the third one in the line in civil service accountability is? Right now you're preparing for examination. Who's the third one in the line is? Huh? Teachers and all, no. Okay. So for example, first is yourself, second is your parents, third one is if you got a girlfriend or boyfriend. Okay. First year is not a problem. No one asks you any question. First year. You sit and study, everyone will be happy, correct? Once you finish off your first year, or the next logical question your girlfriend or boyfriend will ask is, okay, when you are going to finish off this? I think your life is a lot with Lakshmiant, not with me. Okay, I don't know what will happen to me, correct? Then who's the next one is? Who's the next one in the line is? Fourth person in the life, correct? For 4 பேர். Okay, this 4 person will determine your fate. In the society, these 4 person never met you, never seen you, but based on the results, they determine the fate in the society, correct? If you got into services, this 4 person will say that on that day itself I know. Okay, from the face itself I know. He's an IAS, correct? If you are not passing that year, what will the persons need to do is, they doesn't need to change the dialogue and all. They need to change the modulation. That's it, correct? Annake theriyo, correct? On that day itself I know. Idella collector munchiya, correct? So first year is very sweetest part in your preparations. Lot of people encourages you. And after that, if you are continuing a civil service preparation, there should be a lot of self-motivation. No one bothers you, correct? Until the results. After results comes, you can see that all people will be calling you. You never know this person. You know, in LKG, you came to the school, I saw you. Yes, uncle, I know you, uncle. Correct? So, accountability is very diverse in our Indian system. Correct? Similarly, in our development process, accountability is always resolved with 2 personalities. One is political class and civil servants. The next one is types of accountability. So, I'll just repeat the disaster management question. Okay. So, disaster management question. In India, there appears to be more of disaster of management than management of disasters. Comment. You take it as 10-mark question. In India, there appears to be more of disaster of management than management of disasters. Comment. Okay. Next thing is types of accountability. Types of accountability. In that, first one is program accountability. First one is program accountability. What does program accountability means? Right now, answerable for achieving the results. Program accountability means answerable for achieving the results. Example, IMR, MMR. If you say that in my district health improved, showed in IMR and MMR. That's called program accountability. Next thing is process accountability. Next thing is process accountability. Answerable for following established process and procedures. Established process and procedures. So if you are a civil servant, you cannot skip this process and procedures. A good example is if we take MG Narega. A SC woman and a male comes and asks a job. Who should be given first priority? As per law. Logical one. SC women. That's the process. You cannot skip that process. Final last one. Financial accountability. Financial accountability. Answerable for financial decisions. Answerable for financial decisions in development process. So these are types of accountability. Even we can relate this to our civil service preparations also, right? What this program accountability is asking question for your results, correct? When this will happen? In civil service preparation, when this program accountability will happen? Or what time it will happen, program accountability? They ask you the results. When they'll ask you the results? Huh? Huh? Okay, not in media. So right now you're preparing for civil service for 1 year, correct? And accountability means you said that parents will ask the questions. When they'll ask the question, program accountability is more for results. When they'll ask the questioners, that's nothing but June 27th. Once you finish off the prelims, 5 o'clock you come out and call up your parents. What the first question parents will ask us? How was the examination, correct? What the next question they'll ask us? Pass avaya, fail avaya, correct? And you give us such a diplomatic answer, they get confused, correct? They say, okay, we pesipom, correct? That's called program accountability. What is process accountability means? The parents right now, what they see is very unique about you, correct? Attending 3 to 4 classes, 24/7, you're studying, correct? Today you are attending a classes. What will be the next question parents will ask us once you finish off the class? Okay, class what they taught in class. And another basic question they'll ask is, they never trust you, correct? In class whether you went for the class or not, if you're not coming from your home, correct? And finally, financial accountability is, if you're staying here for your preparations for civil services, per month they send some money, correct? And suddenly you got you need some extra money. What will be always the best source for that? Right now preparing for civil service, how many of you staying here for studies? Okay, most of you. So per month, they, for example, they give 15,000 means. By third week, you call up the parent and say that they put extra 5,000. For the next question, the mother or father will ask us, why this 5,000, correct? And what the best answer we got is, what the best answer we got right now for us is, books. Correct? Without this book, I can't be an IAS. Staff book correct? Every staff comes and say that buy this book. If you're not giving, I am not be an IAS, correct? In college days, what is the source for money in college days for us? College days, what will be the source for money is? If you want to get instant money from the parents, what is the best source for it is? Project, correct? And apart from project, we have mini project also, correct? So that's what financial accountability. Right now, we can see that in our system, if you are running a government, you are answerable for all these things. Program accountability, process accountability, and financial accountability, correct? For example, if you take Rafale issue, you are able to remember this Rafale aircraft. In which area question is being raised for Rafale is any idea? One is financial. Why the cost of Rafale is very high. And process, they ask the question. What the process question is? Not only technology. In first agreement, when you are signing this Rafale agreement is, they said that they are going to transfer the technology to HAL. But later what happened is, that was transferred to Reliance Industries. So that was a question on process. Why you are changing like that? Because first agreement you said that you are going to give it to HAL, a government entity. Right now you are going to any private player. What may be the reason behind it? Is that you are working for private players. So you can see that accountability in government in these areas. Program accountability, ultimately you can see that Corona time. Okay, question is asked with the government, whether you are stopping Corona or not. Court is asking a question, correct? So these are the types of accountability: program, process, and financial. Okay. So today we'll stop with this. Just quickly go through what are the things we discussed here. Financial accountability means, write down, answerability for your financial decisions. Any decisions regarding finance, you are answerable. Answerability for financial decisions. So any clarifications or doubts, just quickly ask. Online candidates, any doubts? Okay then. So can we wind off the session? Online candidates, can we wind off? If you put yes, that we will learn good. Okay then. Thank you. We see you in the next class. Thank you.